Cool! James yelled at the top of his voice as he jumped up from the sofa. Turning up the volume of his television, he continued shouting, "Come on! Get that ball! Go! Go!" No, it was past midnight. James was watching a soccer match at home, with his television at maximum volume. A selfish and inconsiderate man, James was often shunned by his neighbors. Whenever he was at home, his neighbors would have no peace, as his television would be blasting away at full volume. The next morning, James woke up with his eyes ringed with dark circles and head pounding. Groggily, he sat up and looked around him. He had fallen asleep on the sofa after the soccer match, his television still on full blast. Pulling himself up, James walked towards the kitchen to get himself a drink. Crash! While James was on his way to the kitchen, he tripped over an empty bottle on the floor. He lay sprawled on the floor, groaning in pain. James tried to stand up but was not able to. A sharp pain seared through his back. To his horror, he realized that he was not able to move his legs. Frantically, James tried to reach for his phone. He inched his body slowly towards the table. Beads of perspiration trickled down his forehead as he tried in vain to push himself forward. "Help! Somebody! Help me!" James cried in desperation. However, his voice was drowned by the blasting television in his living room. After what seemed like an eternity, a curious voice greeted James. "Is everything all right, Mr. Lee? Why are you on the floor?" It was James' next-door neighbor, Mr. Wong. James heaved a huge sigh of relief and immediately told Mr. Wong what had happened. Without wasting a second, Mr. Wong called the ambulance before calling a locksmith to pry open James' door. Soon, a crowd of curious neighbors had gathered outside James' house. They were whispering and gesturing while shaking their heads. When the ambulance came, James was taken to the hospital and treated for spinal injuries. Mr. Wong and a few kind neighbors visited James during his stay in the hospital. They brought him fruits and some magazines to keep him occupied. When James was discharged, a few neighbors took turns to bring him food and made sure he was taken care of. Feeling touched by their kind gesture, yet embarrassed by his inconsiderate actions, James apologized to his neighbors. "I am sorry for being inconsiderate all these years. I should have spared some thought for all of you, and not be turning my television on at full blast every night. You have treated me the opposite of what I have been treating you." James mumbled sheepishly as his face turned red. James felt ashamed of his inconsiderate actions and promised to always spare a thought for others. From that day onwards, James was never inconsiderate to his neighbors again.